Okay, in all fairness to the AA integrates with Al-Anon and Al-Anon cooperates with AA program that we began last week. Today's Tuesday. I did go looking for the blue book. I guess I started it in July. So July 13th was the incident in Pennsylvania, and now we're starting to see some of these problems ripple over into Ontario, Canada. And one thing one of my room renters mentioned is that some of these cards look like bar coasters. This is the Mona Lisa makeover. Now, I have her book, Mona Lisa Schultz, and I remember opening it up. I don't have the book here, but I opened it up, and she specifically mentioned, sort of on the inside page of her book, her book is called, I can't recall, but anyways, it talks about the Holocaust survivors. And these are kind of interesting cards. They have a flip side, so you really can't be upside down. No matter how hard I try, I'll never be good enough, but you have to turn that around, turn that frown upside down, and put a smile on. Living in society with steel-like determination, I build a successful and prosperous and productive life. I have healthy goals. The only way others can get to know my true self is to talk from my heart. If I say something, I easily get embarrassed, and I'm often misunderstood. So really, there are always going to be a bipolarity to the thinking that you're having. So turning it around, that Mona Lisa smile, I highly recommend her book as well, Mona Lisa Schultz. I found the blue book. And again, talk to your general office. I found the reflections. I'm looking for a sponsor, actively seeking a sponsor. This is from the daily reflections on the AA side for AA members. We forgive. Often it was while working on this step with our sponsors or spiritual advisors that we felt really truly able to forgive ourselves no matter how deeply we felt they had wronged us. Our moral inventory had persuaded us that all-round forgiveness was desirable, but it was only when we resolutely tackled step 5 that we inwardly knew we'd be able to receive forgiveness and give it to 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 58. What a great feeling forgiveness is. What a revelation about my emotional, psychological, and spiritual nature. All it takes is willingness to forgive. God will do the rest. And again, this is where the boundaries and consequences become so ultimately important. Self-care is creating a safe space for yourself when you feel uncomfortable or unsafe. You have to take a look at what you can do to make yourself feel more safe. So, again, service in Al-Anon is in cooperation and attraction through public outreach. This is how we keep ourselves safe, and we protect the sobriety of our alcoholic family and friends. So the blue book was written in 1935. I'm just going to open it up here to page 159, and it says, A Vision for You. He suffered horribly from his sprees, but it seemed as if nothing could be done for him. He consented, however, to go to the hospital, where he occupied the very room recently vacated by the lawyer. He had 3 visitors. After a bit, he said, The way you fellows put this spiritual stuff makes sense. I'm ready to do business. I guess the old folks were right after all. So one more was added to the fellowship. All this time, our friend of the hotel lobby incident remained in that town. He was there 3 months. He now returned home, leaving behind his first acquaintance, the lawyer, and the devil-may-care chap. These men had found something brand new in life. Though they knew they must help other alcoholics if they would remain sober, the motive became secondary. It was transcended by the happiness they found in giving themselves for others. They shared their homes, their slender resources, and gladly devoted their spare hours to fellow sufferers. They were willing by day or night to place a new man in the hospital and visit him afterwards. They grew in numbers. They experienced a few distressing failures, but in those cases, They made an effort to bring the man's family into a spiritual way of living, thus relieving much worry and suffering. A year and 6 months later, these three had succeeded with 7 more, seeing much of each other's scarce an evening passed that someone's home did not shelter a little gathering of men and women, happy in their release and constantly thinking how they might present their discovery to some newcomer. This is sort of like the Christian evangelism movement from the early days of my childhood. I was not really a participant in reading the Bible on a regular basis, so when I got to the 12-step program, I was completely open to the idea, having already been ordained a spiritual counsel. And certainly the voice and speech workout that I've been participating in for the last 32 days has been helpful. This book, As Old as Time, Olive Oil and Balsamic Vinegar, meets with my philosophy in life, as well as there's a biblical term that's on vegetarianism. And as you can see, this was a very reasonable book at a secondhand shop, and it's a very thin book. Of these ye may freely eat, and looking into different ways to prepare foods that are not only nutritious and healthy for those of us who are averse to alcohol or peanuts or any kind of, like, even lung disease prevents us from doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So maybe we can prepare ourselves a little steamed cabbage or sauerkraut or split pea chowder, some vegetarian chili, cream of tomato, broccoli. Adding more vegetables, provided you have the teeth and the digestive system that can handle the types of food. You certainly have to talk to your community food bank about hiring a professional dietitian and someone who is fully alive, awake, and enlightened as to the digestive diseases, like Dr. Call. He has about 500 patients. He's the specialist on gastronomical diseases. That's tongue to tail. There's certainly 500 families just like my own that are helping a family member deal with a gastrointestinal disease that may or may not be equated to alcoholism, but certainly presents itself as life-threatening, as most diseases do when they... cancer is another one that gets certainly progressively worse. We have hospice now. That's about the 6-week level of end of life. There's just, food is just so important, and if you don't understand how it equates to your healthy body, healthy mind, something gets lost in the translation, and you're just out there trying to find an escape. So I recommend that you, even in the ALANON program, you go get yourself a copy of the 1935, or this is the 4th edition, Alcoholics Anonymous. They call it the Blue Book, or the Big Book, or the Instruction Book. There are many other books. I've featured some of them: Living Sober, Inmate to Inmate, Came to Believe, Our Great Responsibility, Experience, Strength, and Hope, Daily Reflections, Pass It On, Dr. Bob and the Good Old Timers, As Bill Sees It, and Alcoholics Anonymous Comes of Age, and 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Thank you.